Get the ducky. Oh. Yeah, get the ducky. Get the ducky. Get it. Yeah, good boy. This is a dog who has been loved his entire life. He's never had to fight for his own food, and he's never been crammed in a really, really small box. He's always known what love and affection is. But for puppy mill dogs, this is not the case. The female and male adult dogs are bred their entire life to produce a countless amounts of puppies, in which the puppies are then separated from them and then crammed into a really, really tiny wired box, stepping in their own feces and urine. I will be discussing how puppy mills should be banned based on the experiences from shelters, rescues, and owning a puppy mill dog to exhibit the environment around puppy mills. Imagine your whole life you're just stepping in feces and urine, and you're giving unsanitary food and water, or you're just used to produce a countless amount of puppies. This is the environment of puppy mills. The environment around puppy mills is just terrible and cruel because they don't even have the basic necessary needs to live. And just because you're living doesn't mean you're surviving. According to Merriam-Webster, the definition of a puppy mill is a farming operation in which they breed purebred dogs, usually in terrible conditions. In an article from BCA Animal Hospitals called Over 100 Neglected Dogs Rescued and Reformed from Oklahoma, a veterinarian shares her story based on the experience. That veterinarian's name is Tambra Gatlin. Dr. Gatlin begins her story by saying how most of the dogs were just in really, really terrible condition. She then goes on to say that a lot of them were embedded with feces and had a lot of matted fur. As she examines the dogs, she says a lot of them had heartworms, intestinal parasites, they had skin problems, skin infections, eye infections, and some were even anemic. Dr. Gatlin continues her story by saying how the experience was just really heartbreaking, but it gave her a new perspective on life. This veterinarian helped really terrible conditioned dogs, and she used her knowledge, her resources, and her time to help these dogs and treat them as much as they needed to be treated. She even said that in the end, all the dogs that were rescued ended up living. But not all endings have happy endings. Even when a dog is rescued from this environment, it doesn't mean it's going to be a nice, normal, loving dog. A lot of these dogs are really, really traumatized. In a website called Harley's Story, written by Rudy Taylor, she then goes on to tell a story about a puppy mill dog called Harley who was rescued. Harley's only purpose in life was to be a father and produce a countless amounts of puppies. But once he couldn't produce any more puppies and he was sick and he had a lot of problems with him, they dumped him in a bucket with a bunch of dead puppies. A volunteer saw him in the bucket, helped him, and he received medical attention right away. When Rudy Taylor first got Harley, she said that he was really scared and afraid. But once Harley felt the love and attention, he thrived. She said that his transformation really inspired her because he had so much courage and determination just to hold on to his life. Now, Harley has a new purpose in life. Besides being scared and afraid and producing a countless amounts of puppies, now he goes on rescues and actually helps transform puppy mill dogs from being sad and afraid. Harley went from a really, really scared and afraid dog and knew nothing about being a dog to a really loving and carefree dog and just really loves his life. Love should never be taught to a dog. Love should always be a natural instinct. You should always know and feel what love is, but these dogs don't know what love is. They have to be taught it. And for the sad part, some of these puppy mills, even if they are rescued, they don't even get out of the shelter. According to the Humane Society, from their website called Puppy Mills Facts and Figures Sheet, there's an estimated about 2.6 million dogs in puppy mills, and about 1.5 million dogs are euthanized each year. This is because there's a problem with overpopulation. Puppy mills really help cause overpopulation in dogs. Since they keep breeding and breeding and breeding these dogs, it really helps with the overpopulation within the dog community. According to an article called Volunteers Speak Out About the Harsh Reality of Shelters, the volunteers have stated that they work at a no-kill shelter, and just because the shelter is a no-kill shelter doesn't mean that dogs end up dying. According to the volunteers, they say about 10% of the dogs in the shelters are killed because there's not enough room for these dogs. Some of the volunteers have stated that some of these dogs aren't even posted on social media, and the public doesn't even know these dogs because they're not posted about, they're not posted to the public, they're just euthanized. I think this is really cruel. From the conditions of the shelter and all that, it's just a really cool process, and the shelter fixes the overpopulation problem by killing more of these dogs and euthanizing more of these dogs. Puppy mill environments help affect the behavior of the dogs, the overpopulation of the dogs, and just have a really bad environment for these dogs. With discussing how puppy mills should be banned, from the experiences from shelters, rescues, and owning a puppy mill dog, really exhibits the behavior from a puppy mill. So the next time that your dog wants to go on a walk, take your dog on a walk. If they want a treat, give them a treat. Well, give them a treat. If they want a few more pats, give them a few more pats. Don't take your dog for granted, because they don't do that to you.